Logically speaking, there should be a lot of domineering CEOs fighting to pursue me. Look at me. I was born beautiful. I just don't get it. Someone as pretty as me? Why have I waited 36 years and not a single domineering CEO has shown up? China has the most single women in the world, and the profit margin in China is also the highest in the world.
And most of the time, it's women who initiate divorce. Only Chinese women out of the whole world look down on men the most. Only Chinese women demand such high bride prices. And only Chinese women abandon their husbands and children the most. Only Chinese women after getting divorced want to find a richer man. And most of them haven't actually found one. So what's the reason for this? Friends, there's only one reason. Because Chinese women love to drink toxic chicken soup. Things like men are responsible for earning money to support the family, women are responsible for being beautiful. Or there are only men who can't find wives but no women who can't get married. It's all kinds of toxic chicken soup, one bowl after another.
It's made our fellow women so confused and disoriented. As a father, you've never once called your child. You've never cared about any aspect of your child's life, nor about their studies. You haven't even called your child once in an entire year. You've made my child grow up without a father's love. You have no sense of responsibility toward this family. You haven't fulfilled a single cent's worth of a father's duty. You haven't cared about your child's life, nor about their studies. I worked in Beijing for 5 years, and I gave you all the money I earned. You didn't even make much, and you didn't give me much either. You have no right to say that because I took out loans for everything related to the child. You didn't give me much money at all.
The jointly owned marital property, a sedan with a license plate from the same period, is awarded to the plaintiff, Yan Dongping.
Shameless smile contrasted with her husband's tears. In the 7.5-minute video, 7 minutes were taken by the woman's performance. She accused her husband of neglecting their child for 5 years, failing as a spouse, and leaving all car and mortgage payments to her, while he took no responsibility. Several times the husband tried to speak, but was interrupted each time. You might think the husband is a jerk, but in the end, he turned the tables in just 20 seconds. I've worked in Beijing for 5 years and handed everything to you, even though we don't have a marriage certificate.
No, you're not qualified to say that. Yeah, I've been the one caring for the child. You didn't give me much money. If you have proof, show it. Didn't I give you 8,000 yuan a month, didn't I?
The woman in front of the camera looks radiant, while the husband behind the lens appears worn and haggard. It's clear at a glance who is making sacrifices, and who is enjoying the benefits. Earning 8,000 yuan a month, 5 years of hard work in the sun and wind made 480,000 yuan, but he kept nothing, all given to his wife. In return, she smiled affectionately at someone off camera. The marriage ended, and the child was gone. At the start of 2025, Yan Dongping's smile shattered men's hopes for marriage. Has everyone seen the so-called 20-second instant kill video? I believe most people, regardless of gender, would despise such a heartless woman.
In a video lasting 7.5 minutes, she spent a full 7 minutes defending herself, accusing her husband of neglecting their child for 5 years and never fulfilling his duties as a father. She claimed that she was the one paying both the car and house loans, that her husband didn't care about anything, that the money was earned by her own work, and that she bore all the expenses for the child. At this point, you might think the husband is a terrible person, but the husband needed only 20 seconds to completely turn the tables. Why do I say it was a 20-second knockout? Because while the woman was accusing the man of not contributing to the family, the man finally, out of frustration, asked, "Haven't I been giving you 8,000 yuan every month?" Because he was working in Beijing, and all the money he earned over those 5 years was given to his wife. As everyone knows, the average salary for ordinary people in Beijing is just over 10,000 yuan, so being able to save 8,000 each month to send home is no small feat. This man is truly frugal. He gave all the hundreds of thousands he earned from 5 years of hard work to his family. The woman in the video looks radiant, while her husband off camera appears worn and weary. It's clear at a glance who is really making the effort. The woman never responds to the mention of the 8,000 yuan and keeps insisting that the man hasn't helped the family. That's why, in the eyes of someone without a conscience, no matter how much you give, it's all in vain. Even if you give them hundreds of thousands a year, in their eyes you're still worthless.
If a man can't give me love, can't give me money, and can't give me the life I want, why should I be with him? See, you used give 3 times. And what it matches is want 3 times. Want more, and always wanting with no end in sight. If you swallow this toxic mindset, then you'll never be saved in this lifetime. Some people online say that certain successful men or rich second-generation heirs can change girlfriends every year and never have to get married. But in reality, the numbers might be even scarier than you think. Some of them can change girlfriends every month and even date several at the same time. Look, the pretty ones all get to stay and have fun for a couple of days. In front of them, don't even talk about women's rights. You don't even have basic human rights. Because when they're done with you and tell you to leave, you have to go, right? As girls, we can't be in relationships for free. Why use the word free? Is there anything in this world that's a commodity and isn't paid for? Like, what do you take yourself for? And what do you take the other person for? Don't objectify yourself. First, you should want to help yourself and help the other person, and they should help you too. Either you both win and share good times, or if you lose, you go through hardships together. If you haven't worked hard, what makes you think you deserve to share the points? What you're saying is nonsense. Goodbye.
Some women have read too much toxic chicken soup, and their values have become distorted. For example, they say things like, you can't give me money, you can't give me companionship, and you can't give me a stable life. From start to finish, what do you do besides asking for things? This is clearly a poison that blinds people's values. But there are still so many people who think, hey, that actually makes a lot of sense, and even take it as their own life motto. Some women think that as females, they deserve to be pampered by the whole world now, and that anyone who manages to win them over should feel as grateful as if they'd won the lottery. But I just want to ask, why? When you say things like that, what are you turning men into? Just obedient simps who come running whenever you call? Or are they just suckers, human ATMs? If you really look at it that way, then relationships might as well have a price tag. Don't talk about those empty ideals, and don't always expect to give nothing while the man has to provide you with everything. You should also ask yourself if you're really worthy of that. If there's a guy who's handsome, rich, comes from a good family, and is well educated, why would he choose you? Does that hurt? We modern women all value independence and self-reliance, so why do you insist on being the one to ruin it for everyone? Always scheming about how to live an easy life and reap benefits without effort. Do you really have the nerve to shout about women's independence?
True love is 2 people moving forward together, facing storms and joys side by side. There's a toxic saying online that divorced women are in high demand, that single mothers after remarriage are being fought over. As a long-time matchmaker, can I be honest? In Shenzhen's real dating scene, if you're divorced with a son, no matter how beautiful, once people hear, they don't want to meet you. Why? Because now, no one wants to raise someone else's child, especially a boy. Men aren't stupid. Listen, a woman who's been married can only marry so-called high-quality men. She can't marry an ordinary guy, because ordinary guys, at the most basic level, they care a lot about whether you've been married before, whether you've had children. Your history matters to them. If we're talking about the high-quality men in our club, those earning 5 or 6 million a year, they actually don't mind if a woman has been divorced. They think marrying you isn't just about sleeping together or having kids. Marrying you is about realizing dreams together. If you end up like this after drinking and you're still in that club, you might as well treat yourself like a wishing well for others.
You can ask for whatever you want. Also, let me ask, are there really any big shots here making 5 or 6 million a year? Come on, show yourselves if you're out there. Is what he's saying even true? Come on. If anyone's got the guts, step up first. And if you have friends with diabetes, tell them not to eat this. Don't let them get a taste of sweetness, or it'll be impossible to stop later. Right now, we're living in an era where toxic positivity is everywhere. Many people get divorced, and the trigger is often toxic positivity. It's strange, isn't it? Everyone knows toxic positivity is harmful, but many women still like to hear it. Let me explain. First, toxic positivity usually has some truth. If it made no sense, no one would listen. For example, it might say, it's not easy for women to leave their families, enter a new home, care for parents, look after kids, get angry at husbands, become slaves, and so on. When women hear this, they feel it's accurate and start following. In reality, these people just want to attract more women, since women have strong spending power. You get it, right? As for the consequences of reading this toxic positivity, who cares about you? Smart women don't use online standards to judge their own husbands because they know their husbands have it tough too. A good marriage requires both people to work together and put in effort. Let me tell you, don't be fooled by those so-called influencers. If you want a good life, you have to be down to earth. Nowadays, some women have been drinking in all that toxic positivity online. They don't have the life of a princess, but they've caught the princess syndrome. The woman I'm about to talk about is a typical example. I don't want to.
Living in that shabby house, I also wanted to invite my friends over. They all live in nice apartments, and I wanted to be a refined, stylish girl too. I have standards for myself, and I'm very particular. In a marriage, both people are supposed to share responsibilities equally, right? But I ended up taking on everything myself and spoiled him into having a princess syndrome. At home, my parents are always watching short videos, and he got hooked on the toxic advice from some so-called female mentors, constantly fantasizing about becoming a refined, stylish girl himself.
He wants to be with his own domineering CEO. He complains his husband doesn't make enough money. She wants to divorce her husband of 10 years, insisting she must live in a mansion and drive luxury cars, claiming only these things are worthy of her. Her husband earns about 10,000 yuan a month, which is quite good, but Feng's mother is still not satisfied. Influenced by toxic advice online, she's become dizzy with the idea women should be treated like princesses, use the best cosmetics and handbags, and must have a handsome, domineering CEO who picks them up every day in a luxury car. She is dissatisfied with her husband.
If the makeup your woman wears, the clothes she puts on, the things she eats and uses, don't come from you, you're just a complete failure of a man. Am I your daughter? Am I your daughter? For 10 years, I haven't treated you like a daughter. If I really did that, it would be completely wrong and cause conflict with you. Faced with his wife's coldness and ruthlessness, Zhang Liwei is still making a final effort for the sake of the children. The reason I'm looking for them is
You need to live your own life well. You're not my parents, and I am not a minor, not a child under 18, so there's no need for you to manage my marriage for me. After the mediator patiently tried to resolve things, Hu Peipei still felt that divorce was the best option. The mediator informed Zhang Liwei of the situation. As the victim of a failed marriage, Zhang Liwei was naturally filled with anger, but he knew. In the days to come, apart from the fact that they still share a blood relationship with their child, the two of them will be like strangers. Do you all still remember that piggy girl from last year who abandoned her husband and child for love? There's finally an update. Originally, this girl was obsessed with toxic online chicken soup advice, always dreaming that a prince on a white horse would come to rescue her. Watching the snow, the stars, and the moon together. With Zhang Dong's arrival in Xiaonan's life, Hu Peipei's floodgates of love were completely opened, and she was unable to extricate herself. He wanted freedom. He wanted happiness. He wanted to break free from the prison of marriage that had bound him for 10 years. However, things did not turn out the way Hu Peipei had hoped. This ugly duckling who longed to become a swan only realized in the end that the stories and fairy tales are all lies. Zhang Dong broke his promise. He did not keep the commitment he made at the time. After the two returned to Zhang Dong's hometown, their relationship quickly took a turn for the worse. The ironic scene of quarreling with her ex-husband played out once again, ultimately leading to a helpless breakup. Hu Peipei was completely stunned. All she wanted was to be a beautiful bride. Isn't a bride always beautiful on her wedding day? Even someone with very ordinary looks is the most beautiful person on that day, but in the end, this beautiful dream was shattered. Seeing how heartless Zhang Dong was in abandoning her, she began to regret it, regretting that she left her original home, regretting that she never realized how devoted her former husband Zhang Liwei was to her. She regretted blindly chasing after an unrealistic love, only to end up with nothing in the end. So Wu Peipei returned to her old home where she had lived with her ex-husband for 10 years. Everything before her eyes felt so familiar. The more she used to dislike it, the more attached she felt now. She sought out her ex-husband Zhang Liwei, hoping to remarry him. She resolved not to be a spoiled girl anymore, but to live her life wholeheartedly, and never flirt with strangers online again. He hoped that he would forgive him once for the sake of their more than 10 years of marriage and their children. He swore that he would change for the better. But her ex-husband Zhang Liwei had already been hurt too deeply by her. Back then, he had even set aside his dignity and knelt down, begging her not to leave, saying everything he could think of.
But in the end, Wu Peipei still left without mercy. The betrayal and pain she had experienced were known only to herself, so she refused his request to remarry. In the end, only Hu Peipei was left, leaving alone in regret. Chinese men are